Hi there, welcome to Wyckoff Technical Analysis session for Bitcoin. If you're new to my sessions, these are the three takeaways that you'll get after the session. So let's dive into the charts. So we're looking at the Bitcoin weekly chart, and to start with, basically we are at an LPSY stage after the upthrust after distribution. So let's focus on the blue tags for Wyckoff distribution at the moment. The yellow ones are basically another scenario that the previous period during 2024 from March all the way till October was a different stage. So it's still pending to be confirmed until this has completely revealed. So what's happening over here is Bitcoin continues to edge towards the bottom of this upward channel, this large pink box. So this upward channel basically started from somewhere in October 2023, so over 2 years ago. Now is once again getting towards the bottom. Last two times it reached that point was April this year, and then the previous one was September 2024. So almost every 7 months it kind of touches this point. And as of this moment, the risk of getting towards the 74K level, showing us a sign of weakness, is higher than the opportunity going to the upside, the ceiling of the channel itself. So that's the big picture. And also one more thing is the Bollinger Band corner squeeze. Basically, we are in a squeeze situation now in the weekly chart. So that's going to be something bigger than a squeeze in the daily chart. So if we look at the history of Bitcoin, there were a couple of cases. The most recent ones were August to October 2024. So during that period of horizontal consolidation, after that, the squeeze force released, and then we've got these bigger swings came in. Sometimes the swing will go to the downside before it goes up. So this indicator doesn't always, or not even always, doesn't tell us which direction the swing will start first. Just that a bigger price swing will come soon. So we are basically at that stage already. We have entered the squeeze for technically about 4 to 5 weeks now. So be cautious when this happens. The price swing will be even crazier than what we have seen 2 to 3 weeks ago. And also the key levels. For 4 consecutive weeks, Bitcoin has tested this 104K key level that we discussed about. So when we get to the daily chart, we'll take a look and see what kind of breakout timing, if any, the charts are telling us. So let's go to the daily now. While we were talking about the Bollinger Band corner squeeze earlier, the top line, the top purple line, has gone into the orange, and the bottom edge is close enough. So I consider this kind of scenario starting on Wednesday is the beginning of a squeeze. According to the indicator, they put it in hard digits in formula in the program language. The purple has to be inside the orange, both lines, to trigger the shade at the back. So the decision between myself and the machine is a bit different. So I consider this has started. This is what the machine consider a squeeze has started. But at the end of the day, it's still the same thing. It indicates bigger price swings would come afterwards. Okay? Many occasions. Down, up, or up, down. It doesn't matter. Just bigger price swings. And we are getting into that stage. Alright, so be prepared. And let's go back to the Wyckoff and also the trends, the price action trends, to see what kind of indications we get. So right over there, we talked about the uptrend potentially being challenged. We talked about this last week, that the price is within this white box, and whether this uptrend can continue depends on the price actions in the next few days. And eventually on Tuesday, just 3 days after we discussed, the price has fallen outside of this uptrend. So this box, we can take it away because it doesn't matter anymore. What matters more is that the declining trend that started in the beginning of October seems to have shifted to a more gradual rate. So previously we were seeing this kind of downtrend, but then over the course of the entire October, things seems to have changed, even with the October 10th event. So let's adjust this downward channel box to see how it looks like. So some people would like to include that particular wick. For me, I take a different approach, because on such outlier events day, including it would cause a little bit of deviation from the prolonged trend. So that's why I tend not to put that into the box to set it as the boundary. Okay, so if you're new to these channel boxes, basically the prices would bounce between the two sides of the box, and also there's a center line that cuts through the box where the candlesticks heads or tails or their wicks tips are most frequent. Not that the line would cut the channel exactly in half. So this currently looks to me is the most frequent area where we get the heads and tails and also the wicks of candlesticks. Yeah, roughly about that area. So that's where usually, if the price doesn't travel to the other boundary, like from the bottom to the other ceiling, it may get rejected from the center line before it eventually gets to the other side. Right now, it found support at the center line 3 days ago and rebounded, but still suppressed by this yellow resistance line of about 111K 600. So today, yesterday, and the day before all have been trading under that particular line. If this trend continues, it's time to extend this channel box as well. So see where the box cuts the purple key level of 104K. Okay, that's November 23rd, like 3 weeks from now. So anytime from now till 3 weeks later, if the price continues to trade within this, you can call that a wedge or a triangle, it's up to you. So basically the ceiling and the 104K purple key level, the price will eventually get to a decision point where a breakout can happen. So if it breaks to the upside, that means it's breaking outside of this downward trend that started in the beginning of October. If it doesn't, if it breaks towards the downside, meaning below the 104K, which only during May-June time that had happened, not for another 4 months. So that's the first time in 4 months that it breaks below the purple key level when we get to later of this month. And what's more important is not just the purple level, is this pink edge over here. That's the support of the uptrend that started 2 years ago, over 2 years ago. I said in the beginning of the session, remember? Okay? That's really, really important, because if that particular support is broken, that means there is a chance for Bitcoin to come down to test this blue key level of 91K. Okay, that particular area is key when we get closer to the end of this month. If it drops to the blue, there will be some stronger support because that's where the automatic reaction and also some accumulation period lows during the late 2024, also November, and also all the way into January 2025. Those areas were where the prices found support during that period. Okay, and also there were some peaks during the accumulation of February to April 2025, just earlier this year, where the automatic rally and sign of strength reached to about that level. So 91K is a key defense zone for the bulls if they want to push Bitcoin back to an upward trend. Alright, so in 3 weeks' time, we will know whether the big guys are still going to push the price back above the purple, not back above purple, meaning maintain the price above the purple. So what we see here during the sign of weakness on October 17th, the price got like below the 104K, but then you see some pretty strong buying from that particular support range, and that's where subsequently October 18th and 19th stayed above. Even the drop on the 22nd, it also stayed at that particular level set by the buying from October 17th. Okay, no other date fell lower. Just like what happened 2 days ago, same thing. Okay, you see this particular wick that went up set the area where the price, the lowest the price would get for over a week after. But then, like, we're getting towards the edge of the downtrend as well. So I mentioned earlier, when the price gets to the ceiling, there's a tendency for it to bounce back to the other side, or at least the center line. So it's not going to take too long. By the middle of the coming week, that should happen. Okay? So when we come back next week, we'll see whether this time it's going to bounce back to the center line, or is it going to drop all the way to the lower half of this downtrend and test the pink support. So that's the key event for Bitcoin. That's all for Bitcoin for today. Thanks for joining.